We want to begin with the video Matt was talking about. Newly released pictures of Michael Jackson burned during a commercial shoot more than 25 years ago. NBC's Jeff Rawson has more. Good morning, Jeff.
Hi, Aaron. Good morning to you. This may be the most stunning video ever taken of Michael Jackson, that infamous Pepsi commercial from 1984. You mentioned we've been talking about it for 25 years. This morning, you'll see for the first time exactly what happened, from the onset explosion to Michael Jackson's hair on fire. Many say it was this accident that sparked an addiction to painkillers. It was Michael Jackson's final take of the Pepsi commercial that changed everything. The shoot had been going smoothly until take 6. There was a flash on stage. The pyrotechnics exploded too early, and suddenly the king of pop was on fire. In this never-before-seen video, you can see the flames shooting from his hair.
My first reaction when I saw this video is just the absolute shock. His hair is actually on fire for about 8 seconds before anybody steps in to put it out. So he continues dancing, oblivious to the fact that his hair is alight.
Jackson kept performing for the cameras and the 3,000 fans there to watch. He was still smoking as people rushed to help.
When he suddenly realizes that there is a fire, he puts his sequined white glove on top of his head and tries to put it out, and people crowd around him.
He looked shocked. Who wouldn't be? And if you slow the video down, you can see his scalp, the hair singed off. It was January 1984. Michael Jackson was at the height of his career, but this would become the watershed moment of his life.
The fact that the Pepsi commercial went wrong is almost, it pinpoints really the beginning of the end, when everything started to go wrong. This was when he first became addicted to painkillers. He was prescribed Demerol to get over this injury.
Us Weekly magazine obtained the video and posted it online. To this day, the Jackson family blames the Pepsi incident for many of Michael's problems. Jermaine Jackson spoke with Matt about it at Neverland.
I had heard things about prescription drugs when he had the Pepsi burn.
25 years later, prescription drugs are at the center of his death investigation. Jackson's doctors have turned over medical records, including his dermatologist Arnold Klein and Dr. Conrad Murray, who was with Jackson at the time of his death. Dr. Murray is now in virtual hiding, though his lawyer denies Dr. Murray did anything wrong. His spokesperson tells NBC News he met with investigators twice. The final interview on June 27th, 2 days after Jackson died, lasted 3 hours. They say he hasn't been served with subpoenas or search warrants, and that he's turned over all the documents requested. USC law professor Gene Rosenbluth says prosecutors have an opportunity here to send a message.
When the whole world is watching, you've got a high-profile victim. You get more bang for your buck if you go after the people who are criminally responsible in a situation like that.
This morning, perhaps a new sign that the criminal case is progressing. I spoke with the Los Angeles DA's office, and they now confirm for NBC News prosecutors are in touch with investigators. They're talking, but they say even if there are criminal charges, don't expect anything, Aaron, until we see the coroner's report, and that could happen by next week.
All right, thank you very much. I know everyone is waiting avidly for the results of that. Now, let's bring back NBC's chief medical editor, Dr. Nancy Snyderman. Dr. Nancy, we're going to show the video again. And what's most striking about it, perhaps, is that he keeps going. He doesn't even appear, and you can see, to actually realize his hair is on fire.
Right.
Now, you'd think he'd be in a lot of pain.
Well, he wouldn't know that his hair is on fire until it really hits his scalp. And at that point, you can see him put his hand to his head, and it's obviously quite painful. And there's that close-up where you can see that his scalp is red, and that's the degree of the second and third degree burns, which means it's gone through the real outside layer of the dermis.
And so how long would it take for a scalp burn like that to heal?
Well, some of it will just heal what we call by secondary intention. It'll just scar in. But we also have reports that he required skin grafts and some procedures. And that's where the idea of these medications being introduced comes in. Propofol, Diprivan, which is the narcotic, the hypnotic sedative that's used for outpatient procedures. That's sort of been implicated in some issues. In some of these issues, it is used for outpatient surgical procedures. It's not a pain medication, but he might have been given it at that time just to go through the procedures to take care of the healing.
What's amazing when you look at that video is that his brother Jermaine was there and actually didn't realize this was happening either. And I know Matt spoke with Jermaine at Neverland, and that was when Jermaine said that incident is when he started to, quote unquote, hear things about prescription pain medications. if you had an injury like this, you would automatically have a pain medication?
Well, it hurts like crazy. So yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Pain management is part of any kind of burn treatment, and narcotics are still the best pain management. Now, Demerol turns out is not a great medication to use for pain. There are better things, but it could have been at the time of this that his doctors turned to Demerol first. The problem is you have to give big time narcotics, take care of the intense, immediate pain in the first few days, and then back off those medications aggressively to pill form and then to just, regular old over-the-counter medications.
Because are they always addictive? I guess that's the question. Could someone take them and not become
addictive?
Okay.
So you have to look at the patient who's using them, how much they're gobbling them down, and you have to back off. Because that window of, oh my gosh, I like this, it feels good, the pain isn't so bad, but now the medications are taking care of the emotional issues of my day or making me not have to deal with reality. That's the gray area of using narcotics. But sometimes if people, we under-medicate them, and then other times, obviously, we let people with money and too much access get too much. But to treat people appropriately with the big-time medications and then to dial them back as quickly as possible, that's what good doctors do.
But it's fair, in your opinion, to say that this incident really could have been a turning point for him in his life.
Absolutely. I mean, if, in fact, this is when narcotics were introduced to Michael Jackson, then good doctors had to recognize perhaps there's an addictive personality here. Perhaps the narcotics are no longer needed.
Right.
Let's go to simpler over-the-counter medications. But could this have been a time when the bigger medications were introduced? Absolutely.
Well, Dr. Nancy, thank you very much.
Erin.
Appreciate your coming back.